Hello and welcome to the foundational course and introduction to UI UX design. By the end of this course, you should be able to clearly understand who a UI UX designer is and the primary goal of a UI UX designer. Now follow me. So I'm going to be your tutor for today, and my name is Justice Michael. I'm a talented brand and product designer with 3 years of experience in the design industry and well known for successful, outstanding designs. I'm certified with Grow with Google in Coursera in Foundation of User Experience Design, and I'm also certified by the EDSA Academy in Ekiti State in collaboration with Sec4Dev and Meta in product design. Right, so follow me while we go into the course. Now, when you hear about user interface design, what comes to mind? It refers to the process of creating interfaces in software or computerized devices with a focus on looks or style. It involves the design of the presentation and interactivity of a product. Now, from the illustration in front of you, you could see these are digital products, most likely from your devices. It could be your Android devices, your iOS devices, or your Windows or MacBook or Macintosh, whatever. But these interfaces were created for users to interact with them, right? And most of us, we come across many interfaces on the web space today. You operating your phone, every app you see on your phone is a product that was put in place, that was developed, or that was built by the collaboration of UI UX design team as well as developers in the team, right? So follow me. Now, the objective of UI design is to make users interaction as simple and efficient as possible in terms of accomplishing user goals, right? So you are strictly after the user, right? Because if you make a product, who would use it, right? You are not the one to use your product all by yourself. You are making a product to solve a problem, right? So you should be about the users trying to accomplish their goals with your product. Now, the elements of UI designs include buttons, icons, typography, color schemes, and responsive design principles to ensure usability across different devices and screen. Now, as we go further in this course, you get to understand, or you get to see several illustrations that shows you what a perfect UI design looks like. Now, some of the tools we use as product designers include Adobe XD, Sketch, Figma, or even coding languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create UIs, right? Because at the end of the day, we work with developers, and the interface UI designers get to create are being developed by developers using some of these languages like HTML and CSS and JavaScript as well. Now, the iterative process, UI design often involves an iterative process of prototyping, testing, and refining to ensure the product meets user needs and expectation. Now, when you come across the word iterative, it means you get to review the product over and over again for corrections, for improvements, and all of that. It means you just coming back to the product to review it, to maybe the responses you got from your clients, their review, their feedbacks, you put them all together and you come back to the course, or you come back to the product to implement those corrections you found. Now follow me as we proceed. Now, this is a clear illustration of what a user interface looks like, and you could see an illustration of a person holding an application icon. And if you would guess rightly what this application he's holding looks like, it looks like a YouTube mobile app icon, right? So beyond just the YouTube, you see this person is interacting with an app icon, and then you could see an image, what you have in the box, where you have the green shape and the yellow shape. That is a symbolic representation of an image in the sketch form of a UI design. As we go further, you get to understand deeply what we are talking about. Now, there are couple of types of user interface design which you should know and you should pay close attention to. Now, the first one, we have the graphical user interface, which is the GUI. It utilizes graphical elements like icons and menus for user interaction. Now, this simply tells you that a product that allows for user interaction, you definitely find an icon which you should tap on before you use, right? Then in the icon, when you initiate the icon, or you click on the icon, it should open an interface where you have other buttons, or you have a menu for you to select other buttons from, right? So this is what a graphical UI looks like. Now, they are commonly found in desktop application, websites, and mobile application, right? So when you open a website and then let's say you want to download a movie, or you want to download a music, right? So when you search for the music, other than just seeing the name, you see a button, perhaps in a square or in a circle, telling you with the description written on it, download now, right? So these are graphical user interface types that product designers use to actually make a product more interactive, because they want you to we want you to click on it. I'm speaking here as a product designer myself, so we want you to click on it. So you should be able to design product that people get the message you are trying to communicate. So you are trying to make them click on a button, right? You should make it appear like a button. So this is what you get to learn in this course. You know where to use a button, you know where to use an icon, and all of that. Now you have voice user interface, which is the VUI for short. It relies on voice commands for interaction. Examples include virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, which we often interact with from day to day. Those of us who use iPhone, we get to communicate with Siri, and then we ask it to perform certain tasks. These are modifications of user interface design that have sprung up since the recent generation. So it is a type of user interface. So when you are asked to define or to speak about user interface, pay attention to it. It might not necessarily be what you could see, but it will be what you could interact with. So pay attention to what you could interact with. That is what a user interface is. It means a user interface could be something tangible beyond you just finding it in devices. You could find it on hardware. When I mean hardware, I mean something you could handle. For instance, I'm speaking through a laptop, right? And then on the laptop, the user interface of the laptop consists of a screen where I can see the feedback of what I'm talking to you about. I could see my laptop keyboard, and then I have all the buttons facing me, right? And then this is the part, the buttons, the screen. These are the parts of the system I interact with. So it is a user interface. The product designer had the motive in mind to create a simple or a simplified user interface for whoever we handle this laptop. So it doesn't have to be all strictly digital products for you to get a user interface. So what you could interact with, right? So now gesture based interface, you have it's what users interact with through gestures like swiping, pinching, or tapping. Most of us come across gestures like swiping, pinching, or tapping. Let's say from our Android devices or iOS devices, you get to swipe through apps. You get to pinch through images to either zoom in or zoom out, right? And then you get to tap some objects. Maybe you could if those of us, I think while I was using an Android, I recall maybe towards in the settings area where you have the version, let's say version 12. When you go to where the version 12 is written, there are times where you have to maybe triple tap that button, and then you see something pops up about version 12 Android and all of that. Or let's say gestures like when your phone is the screen is blanked out, you could set a feature that allows you to triple tap on the screen and then or double tap on the screen, and then the screen comes up without you having to interact with the power button. So these are all types of user interface. Now they are commonly found in touch-enabled devices like your smartphones and tablets. Now let's see other types of user interface design which we have. We have the augmented reality, which is the AR interface. It overlays digital content onto the real world, allowing users to interact with virtual objects in their physical environment, often used in gaming, education, and navigation applications. Now, when we talk about augmented reality, we speak of interfaces that allows you to test certain products without you physically handling those products. For instance, you have these days we have mobile applications that allows you to test perhaps a shoe, a cloth on you without you actually wearing them. So you could just go to the mobile store and then you click on a cloth and then it triggers your camera, and then you pointing the camera at yourself, you see yourself wearing that cloth or that shoe. That is a type of user interface. So that user interface allows you to test run a product without you physically interacting with that product. Now, lastly, we have virtual reality interface, which is the VR interface, which most of us must have come across in our day-to-day activities, right, or our day-to-day engagement. Now, it creates immersive digital environment that users can interact with through VR headsets. It's used in gaming, simulations, and training applications. Now, I'm going to show you an illustration of what a VR headset or a VR virtual reality interface looks like in the next slide. Now, here is an illustration of a virtual reality device. Most of us must have seen this or perhaps use this in cinemas and studios where we get to use it for gaming and all of that. And it makes you feel you are inside the game environment, whereas it's just a virtual reality. It's not real, but then it's an interface that allows you to participate in the gaming environment, right? So these are all types of user interface design. I hope you got that clearly, and I'm sure when you are asked to define the user interface design and maybe state some of the types, you should know by now already. Watch out for the next video. See you there.